Hey guys, sorry it's been about a month or a month and a half since I've posted at least. Um, Had final exams, then went home to work for Christmas break, and I tried to post a video, but YouTube likes to hate me, and when I post a video longer than 15 minutes or something like that, it gets really mad, and when I upload it, it says it deletes it. So, got really frustrated and stopped doing it. But, here to talk to you today. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick, trying to overcome this. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you today about typical arguments that Christian apologists like to use a lot. You know, they think they're being brilliant. They think they're proving they're Sky Daddy. But you and I, as atheists or skeptics, non-believers, secularists, whatever you choose to call yourself, as non-believers, it kind of makes us want to smack our head into a wall, because to them they think they're brilliant. But to us, it makes absolutely no fucking sense. Well, heard a quote one time. Let's see if I can, say this without butchering it. Debating a Christian's like playing chess with a pigeon. No matter how good of a chess player you are, the pigeon's just going to knock over all the pieces, shit all over the board, then raise its wings like it won. Well, Christians like to use such arguments as, well, you can't prove there isn't a God. I'm sorry, but the burden of proof rests upon the shoulders of the one who makes the assertion that something exists. I can make the claim that a pink unicorn exists that goes around tickling people's buttholes. But, without evidence, you in all likelihood will not believe me. Then they try to use the Bible as proof of God. No, I'm sorry, the Bible is no more proof of God than the Lord of the Rings is proof of the existence of Lord Sauron. Yeah, he's a character of fiction. Just like God. Well, I can claim that I have a document written by Abraham Lincoln. But unless I provide some kind of citation, some kind of credentials as to why this document was written by Abraham Lincoln, in all likelihood you are not going to believe me. Such should be applied to the Bible, and even more so, because the Bible, by its very nature, is all encompassing of life, if true. C.S. Lewis, I believe it was, said, if Christianity is either of extreme or no importance, it cannot be moderately important. If true, it is of utter importance, and I agree with that. If the God of the Bible is real, well, I'm fucked, because I'm not going to serve him either way. But, the Bible is all-encompassing of life by its very nature. If there's no evidence or proof as to why this piece of literature was written by God, then why would you believe it? I can say I have something written by Abraham Lincoln. What reason do you have to believe I actually have a document written by Abraham Lincoln? You don't. You have no reason. You would just have my word. And if I have something to gain from that, even more reason not to believe me. Just like the writers of the Bible had. They gained fame, they gained power, they gained control. Because the Bible exhibits control over people. It conforms people and makes people act and behave in such a way as to behoove the writer of the book. If you can control what people do, you can control what people think more accurately, you can control people. You are in charge of everything if you can control people's thoughts. And the Bible is the worst kind of evil. It is the kind of evil that goes around parading itself as good and moral. Alright, now another argument. Well, without the Bible, how can you have morality? Without God, where do you get your morals from? If there's no principle, like handed down principle, what's stopping you from going and killing and raping women and, stealing and murdering babies? Well, if the Bible is what's keeping you from doing that, stay the fuck away from me. Because if that's the only reason you don't do that, you're a bad person. I can't take credit for saying this because I believe it's Penn Jillette, I said this. As an atheist, yes, I can rape all the women I want to. And I do. Absolutely zero. That's how many women I want to rape. As an atheist, I can murder as many people as I want to murder. And I do that. Zero. I murder 0 people. I don't want to murder anybody. Morality is a man-made concept. It is something that we have come up with. And law, in theory, is the summation of what our morals are as a society. Now, we can get into, government control and whatnot, but in theory, law is a summation of our morality. Morality, again, being a human-made concept. It's not something that a god or a deity handed down. It is something we have decided. This is beneficial, this is not. We've decided that murder is wrong because it doesn't benefit anybody, and we have come to respect human life. Theft is wrong because we wouldn't want somebody to do that to us. How is that beneficial? If everyone's stealing from everybody, it just leads to violence, it leads to malcontent, it leads to division. We don't want division. Division is what is going to tear our species apart. Religion is one of those divisions, in my opinion. More arguments for apologists. I would rather believe in God and be wrong than not believe in God and be wrong. Because if I die and I believe in God, nothing happens, oh well. But if I die and don't believe in God, I go to hell. Well, what that is, that's a play at Pascal's wager. And in all honesty, it proves that they don't really believe. It shows that their belief isn't, as strong as they say it is. And I know, don't you tell me about my Christianity, don't you talk about my faith. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're being good just to save your ass, don't you think this super smart being that you choose to serve is going to see right through that? That's not genuine or sincerity of belief. That's doing something just to receive something for it. That is, I'm being good so I don't get my ass sent to hell. That's wrong. I like to be good, and this is just me, I like to be good and do good things for people because it's the right thing to do. Not to keep a tally, I did this, therefore someone has to do this for me. But I like to think, hey, if I try and help people out, maybe someone will help me out, when I'm in need. It's kind of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Kind of to parallel that, my friends back home. We buy each other stuff all the time. Like, we buy each other food. Like, one time, we'll go out, I'll pay for everything. Next time, Connor will. The next time, Jason will. And the idea being, I know that they're going to get us back. One of them's going to get me back eventually. I mean, I would do it either way, but I know that if I go out and buy food for this time, next time Connor's going to do it. Next time Jason's going to do it. Next time Paul or Tiggy's going to do it. It's just living together. That's what we do. And even more so as a species, as a whole, as a community. I don't steal your stuff. I don't do this to you, therefore don't do that to me. It's respect. If you really need a Bible to tell you that, I'm sorry. You're not very moral. I actually got into a debate tonight in which, this guy was screaming, basically saying, well, morality shouldn't mean anything to you as an atheist because evolution made us and, we should just want the weak of the species to die off. And what he was misunderstanding is Darwinism, which isn't really a thing, it's evolution. Darwin kind of, I'm sure he didn't just discover it, I'm sure there was talk at the time, but Darwin's the one we accredit it to. Evolution by natural selection. Darwin was not even an advocate of social Darwinism. Hitler was, but social Darwinism is weeding out the weak, and that is not our job, that is not our place. Darwin did not advocate that, nor does any evolutionary biologist that I know of. It is not beneficial, it is not good, I saw a debate between Wendy Wright and Richard Dawkins in which she said any society built upon Darwinism ends up in that. And Dawkins said, that's why no society is built on Darwinism. Darwinism is not a belief. It is not a belief system. We have come to respect human life. Apologists go into an argument with a presupposition that God exists, and they try and think about how the evidence can support that. With evolution and things like that, there is no presupposition. It is not a faith. It is not religion. Evolution is a scientific fact. And I know people are going to say, evolution is just a theory. And again, you're misunderstanding what a theory is. You're thinking of a hypothesis. Hypothesis is a question that you then test. A theory is a hypothesis that has been tested over and over and over again and has become accepted. Like, germ theory. That is still a theory. Theory of relativity. Still just a theory. Gravity. Just a theory. Music. We can't teach that in schools. It's just a theory. We need to teach the controversy. No. Nope. Evolution is a fact. It is, and, thank evolution, because if without it, we wouldn't have a lot of the medicine we have today. We wouldn't have a lot of, the knowledge of diseases that we have today. But evolution is apparently a worldview. It is a rebellion against God, and you cannot argue with a person that believes that. You know, when someone has a presupposition, not based on evidence, but based on faith, which by definition is believing in something with no proof, you cannot argue with such a person. And I'm sure you've dealt with this, but it just makes me want to just do this. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching and listening and putting up with my bullshit as usual. If you like my page, please go follow me. I will follow you back. My page is Loki Wears Doc Martens, LOKIWEARSDOCMARTENS. Go give it a like, go give it a follow, whatever YouTube likes to call it, and I will follow you back. Hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching.